Hi, Daily Dosers. It's Brandon Vasquez. I'm the campus pastor at our Palma Valley campus. How are you doing today? How are you doing the last week? How about the last month? Or what about just life in general? How are you doing? Luke is the author of Acts. And in Acts 2, 42 through 47, he basically gives us the characteristics of the church. And I would go one step further and say these would be the characteristics of a healthy and honest church. In verse 42, he says, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer. And I would add some words into that. I don't want you to call Chris or email Chris and say, hey, one of your pastors is adding to the Bible. That's not what I'm doing. But if we read that again, they devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching together, and to fellowship together, and to the breaking of bread together, and to prayer together. It's this idea of being together and being part of a mutual, supporting, and honest community. We first started our time talking about how you were doing, and you're probably like, why is he asking me this? This is kind of odd. But I want you to think about that. And not just give the proverbial in your head, not that I could hear you right now, but in your head say, oh, I'm doing well, thanks for asking. Or I'm good. Not too long ago, a few weeks ago, there's a gentleman in our church. He actually leads our security team. His name is Jason King. And he was not doing well a few weeks ago. He had gone into the hospital with some stuff in I think he had pneumonia. This was when I was on sabbatical. So I'm trying to remember this story correctly, but he had pneumonia. He went to the hospital. They didn't check him in, and so he went back home and tried to get better there, and it didn't work. And so he got admitted to the hospital. He had buildup in a fluid in his lungs, and so they admitted him. I think he was in there for 7 or 8 days. And he eventually had to have surgery. And this was a big decision for him and his wife, Betty. And as they were walking through this, our church community, his life group in particular, really became what Luke was talking about in Acts 2. I want to read you a text that Jason sent me. He said, "Good morning, Brandon. The outpouring of love and support from our church community was beyond measure. From waking up on a Sunday evening to our life group in my hospital room, praying for Betty and I, to you coming and praying with us and giving us the gift cards, to the FaceTime from our church on a Sunday morning, to the numerous visits from church members, just coming to comfort us and pray. And of course, all the help we received keeping our ranch running for 2 weeks. I could go on as there are so many amazing stories to tell. The number one thing I learned from this experience is be a doer. It's easy to just say, I will pray for you, which is sometimes, I know, the only option, but to get up and be there for others has an unbelievable impact. Genuine community is hopefully something that you're in right now. And if you're in it, it's always around you. When times are good and you're up here, and when times are bad and you're down here, hopefully that community is surrounding you in both. And we have a chance to give, and we have a chance to receive when we have these times in our lives. And are you the community member of your church that in times of need and in times of rejoicing are there for the other people in your community? And when it's your time to receive, can you receive without feeling like you're a burden? Without feeling like your work for the other people? Can you just open your arms and receive what God has for you through his people? I hope that we learn to be both. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us on the Daily Dose. We would love to be able to get you more content. Put in the comments below what other topics you'd like us to cover. Thanks for joining us. Remember, like and subscribe.